Been a pattern for the last 2 years or so. Once these girls they say my fiance, it's a wrap on anything that the dude does is stupid, any kind of abuse, any. What's up? You know, I kept putting the show off this week because we've been having a heat wave that's just been unbelievable. Like right now, it's 88 degrees up in here, and these little fans are cute, but they just basically just gave up with all this face with all this heat. It's unbelievable. Hey, Kimberly, and I'm still fighting allergies. It's just springtime. Just be prepared for me to be choking and coughing and sneezing and stuff for a few months here, because that's the way it is. See, I didn't even put on makeup. I put on some lipstick. It's gonna have to do. I don't want nobody coming up in here saying, what's wrong with you? You look sick. Well, yeah, I probably do. But just roll with it, okay? Just roll it, because it's too hot to putting in all that. Even though I don't wear that much makeup, I don't feel like putting on any. So I'm not doing it. I have some lips on, and y'all just be happy. All right, so let's get started, because we got people have been waiting for their little questions all week, and I am finally here to do it. And as usual, oh shoot, forgot to put how much on the cover. Hold on a second. Usually it's 25. I'm pretty consistently guessing that amount. Yep, 25. Y'all ready? Let's go. And I hope you've been enjoying the shorts. I've been trying to make little clips from the longer videos, because people seem to like those. So, if you go on the channel, you'll see it a little, I don't know, they're like from, I'd say about maybe 1 minute to 3 minutes long, little clips from various live streams. Some of them are old, some of them are new. Let's get started with question number 1. This young lady is 22 to 27 age group. She says her summary is, wondering if my boyfriend enjoys humiliating me in public. I am 27 and I've been with my boyfriend, who is 30, for about 2 months. Lately, I've started noticing something that's really bothering me. Whenever we're around his friends, he makes these, quote, jokes about me that aren't really jokes, and they're not funny. A few days back, we were out with his colleagues and we were having some light snacks. And out of nowhere, he says I shouldn't eat this much as I'm a bit chubby. To this, his 3 female colleagues started giggling, and his one colleague, who was a guy, defended me, but he got bullied too. Last night, we were out with his friends, and he started telling them how I can't cook anything without burning it, end quote, and that I'm, quote, basically useless in the kitchen. Everyone laughed, but the thing is, I cook almost every day, and he's never complained before. He even shared my dishes with his so-called work colleagues, a blonde who he's a bit too close with. When we got home, I told him how it embarrassed me, and he just laughed and said I need to learn to take a joke. Then he added that if I didn't want to be teased, I should stop being so sensitive. The weird part is that when we're alone, he's completely different. He's affectionate and supportive, which makes me feel like maybe I'm overreacting. But it just keeps happening. Little digs, little jokes at my expense, always in front of other people. I'm starting to wonder if I'm imagining things or if this is actually a red flag. Do you see this the same way, or am I overthinking? Oh no, this is real. This is absolutely it. Now, some viewers here, if you're on YouTube, you can see in the chat, they're saying run, flee, just leave him. I'm going to say this. Let's do this first, Because see, I don't never like to just leave until I leave after I have done something to hurt you. See, because right now you're hurt. You never, never, never leave until you hurt them back. That is the number one rule of being a woman in 2026. They have to feel what you felt before you leave. You don't, I mean, unless your life is in danger or something like that, then of course you get out of there as fast as you can. But this is, he's not threatening you in any kind of way. But what you gonna do? He's hurting your feelings. He's clowning you in front of his friends. What you need to do is hurt his and clown him in front of his friends right back. So how would I have handled this? Let me give you an example. Okay, he said you shouldn't eat this much as I am a bit chubby. And then that's when you were supposed to say, well, you wasn't saying all that last night when you was crying and talking about how fine I was and how hot I am and all this kind of stuff. So which one is it? You trying to like clown in front of your friends and make it seem like got all these standards and shit. Well, you wasn't like that last night. So what's going on here? So you're supposed to call him out on it. You don't just let him talk about you like that. And those three girls that was giggling and stuff, you saying, what you bitches laughing at? You think this kind of shit is funny? You call them out, and then so they would sit there and look at you stupid because they know that it was inappropriate for them to be laughing at him trying to humiliate you like that. You don't never just let somebody talk about you like that and you don't say nothing back. Girl, come on now. You can't do that. Girl, yes, Kimberly, that's what I'm saying. But this isn't has he hasn't gotten to the point where he warrants a cussing out quite yet, unless I forgot something. Let me keep going. Okay, so then he says you can't cook anything without burning it. And you're useless in the kitchen. Okay, say, well, since you always like to eat my food and even brag about it when you take it to work, what are you doing tonight? You're saying one thing here in front of your friends and you say another thing to me. And plus, you eat all the food that I cook and you've never complained. So, what is this? See, you call him out. You don't have to necessarily cuss him out, but he would be so embarrassed that they usually start stuttering and stammering and turning, different colors and stuff when their friends start laughing at them. And then you could say, if he tries to say, well, it's really not that good, and say, okay, well, you don't have to worry about it because I will never cook for your funky, stupid ass again. I bet you that. You can't get a cracker at my house. I'm not putting a slice of cheese for your fucking ass. How about that? And then he would sit there and look stupid because this shit would have backfired. You see, he's trying to clown you about your cooking, then don't cook for him. Don't let him eat anything at your house unless he brings it with him. Okay. So then he says, oh, you tell him and embarrass him and you need to take a joke. If he said anything to you about how you hurt him or embarrassed him, say, well, you're just so sensitive. What kind of guy is as sensitive as you? God, can't you just take a joke? Where's your testosterone? You don't have no nuts at all. See, you see how I'm doing this? You fire back. You don't let them do those kind of things to you and say those kind of things with you without retaliating. And a lot of people say, well, that's not good for a relationship. Okay, I want to ask you, broads who love to say that shit. Show me where this is good for a relationship. Tell me why she should hold back when he's treating her like this. See, I'm a firm believer in fighting fire with fire. You gonna start a fire? I'm gonna flame your ass with a flamethrower. We don't do that here. I will never, ever, ever tell a woman to take some bullshit from a man. Don't take it from other women either. But this kind of stuff here, we don't do that. Not on this channel. We don't ever advocate that a woman dull her shine to make a man feel better, look better, or that she take any kind of bullshit from him so that he feels like he's the head honcho and the big cheese, making jokes at her expense. This is like emotional abuse. I will never advocate that ever. So, if do I care that that's how you do a good relationship? No, because this is not a good relationship. He's being emotionally abusive to her, so all bets are off. She can do whatever the fuck she want to do and say whatever the hell she want to say, and I'm gonna be 150% on her team because he started it. Okay, and he's behind closed doors. He's one way, but he's another way in public. You got to be consistent. A man who's showing you integrity is the same all the time. You can count on him to be the same. This kind of here just manipulation. So really, like I said, you want to think about if you want to continue this. It's only been 2 months, but don't you take another step nowhere until you clown him first. then you can even break up with him right in front of all his friends since he think it's such a fun thing to, clown in front of the friends. You say, as a matter of fact, I'm done with this bullshit. You had all your stupid, creepy ass, stupid bitch ass friends. I don't want to have nothing to do with none of you. I'm out. Boop, and deuce out. That would be the ideal. Do it in front of them. Yeah. I got dumped in front of all my friends. They're gonna be like, damn, dude. That's what you want. Question number 2. This is a young man, 22 to 27. Summary of issue. I broke up with my fiance because over not getting a job or going to college and wasting my time. So this me a little background. I'm a 20-year-old guy and met my ex. He's male. Now, oh, okay. So 2 guys. Let's call him Autumn. Why do you want to call him Autumn? Would it be like Adam? A year and a half ago in college. We met through a mutual friend group, which was mostly in the dorm. He was not. Me and him was happy for 6 months, seeing each other multiple hours a day, every day. This was until he left college for medical reasons. He got a job, and for 3 months, he was working until the business went under. The issue started this past Christmas when he claimed he was going back to school. Autumn claimed he was going back to college, which was important since my mother said he could live with us if he was either going to go to college or working. He had previously promised to return to school this semester. However, when the move-in date came, he messaged in a chat that he was upset he won't be around. That was strange, right? But I got over it since he said he was looking for a job still. And he claimed he got one. I won't say what it was, but it rhymes with torn. Oh, I didn't mind because we're probably a few more weeks go by and there's a medical scare because he's not in school and I'm the only one with his location. I'm on the phone with the cops, begging, screaming at them to find the love of my life before he's DOA. After the scare, I started pushing for him to move in with me so I can be there when there's something that happens again. I kept pushing for a few months since he's got a job and my mom would let him move in. However, yesterday, this is what I learned that not only was he out of a job, but he wasn't leaving the house for the past 3 months. That's when I got pissed and I started laying into him about leaning on me emotionally. How I can't be there for him if he won't work on himself, and I'm not a crutch. He starts crying and saying what's wrong with wanting to rest. Mind you, it's been over a year since he left school and nearly 4 months since he got fired. I ended up breaking up with him because I just couldn't let myself be with someone who makes promises to better themselves and then stays in bed relaxing for months at a time. Was I right for breaking up with him? Oh, absolutely. Especially he's gonna be living in the house, yeah, that basically means I mean, I know you probably got some little Mickey Mouse job, but you're in school, so their mother's the one who's covering all the expenses. So basically that means your mother's putting roof over his head and feeding him, keeping the lights burning for him to burn up since he's there all day and stuff like that. No. You wouldn't you that would be so disrespectful to your mother to let him stay there, even though she was trying to be kind and supportive of you, your little partner and stuff like that. I mean, she's better than me. I wouldn't have done it. But, she was trying. She's a kind woman trying to support, your relationship and stuff. So, I mean, I'm with you. He should have got the boot. That's disrespectful to your mom. Okay. And you can do better. You sound like you trying to achieve things in life and go places and do things. You should have somebody who's running with you, not who's going to be, trying to drag you down by not doing anything and having you try to carry that person on your back to success. No, you're too young for that anyway. Question number 3. This young lady's female, 28 to 34 age group. Summary of issue. Is this a new trend with guys? I got out of an 8-year relationship about 3 years ago, and ever since I have been in the dating scene, I have noticed how much things have changed. Yeah, girl, I'm telling you. Everything now is so surface level and fake. The most common thing I've seen is meeting guys out or even going on a first date and having chemistry and good conversation and them talking about future plans together. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy or dramatic. Just like, oh, you want to see that movie? We can go this week. Or, quote, I want to take you to my favorite restaurant next time. And then they literally disappear, or they might keep talking to you, but they don't make any set plans to see you again. It's almost like men figured out that they don't even need to do the dates or any of the things to court women. They realize it's enough for them to just talk about it and seem sincere, and women will think, wow, he wants to make plans with me and he's excited to see me again. I guess this is just a way to try to hook up. Just the past couple of months, I've met 3 guys I was genuinely interested in seeing again that approached me, asked for my number, and talked to me all night and said they want to take me out, and then I never hear from them again. I'm not even sure if I'm ranting or want advice. Maybe a combination of both. I just think that I am such a self-aware person and usually have a good gauge if someone is genuinely vibing and into me. And nowadays I feel so fooled every time. Deb, it's just so hard to feel the connection. And then you finally feel one and they seem to be on the same page, but then I guess they are lying. I have no idea, but it sucks. And I'm just sad today. Any feedback would be appreciated. Well, this is not a new trend. You're just young. You're in the 28 to 34 age group. So, you're not a seasoned veteran like me. This shit ain't new. We used to call it back in my day in the 80s, selling wolf tickets. Okay, that I don't know how that term originated, but basically it means somebody running their mouth, they barking, but they ain't really gonna do shit about it. It's they just talking shit. That's basically what that means. So yeah, that's an 80s phrase. So that shows you before you even born that this was a common behavior. Okay, so it's nothing absolutely, absolutely not true that it's new. What we're seeing though is with the change in society where everything is so instant that guys are able to utilize these tools of instantness like texting and zooming and facetiming and instant messaging and all this kind of stuff. They're able to use those tools to get women to feel like they've actually dated them because they talk to you so much, right? They text, they pay you a lot of attention. You're interacting with them a lot. Whereas we used to only have, the only opportunities we used to have to do that was on actual dates. We would actually, lay eyes on them, maybe talk on the phone, but this is pre all this texting and all this stuff. All that stuff didn't come out until the 90s, which a lot of you kids don't understand because, it's been around since you were here. You don't understand that there was life before all this internet and all this kind of stuff. We didn't use those tools. And you see, I mean, it's not like I'm ancient, but it's like the world has changed so much in the last 30, 35 years. It's just unbelievable how much things have changed. So they can use those tools, right? They keep in contact. They text you every day. Oh, good morning, beautiful. Good morning, good night, lovely lady. This and that, and all these. They sending you pictures and stuff. They Snapchatting you. Y'all, talking on the FaceTime. You actually looking at them, but you're not on a date. You haven't laid eyes on this person sometimes for weeks at a time. All the stuff is taking place, virtually. So by the time you actually see them, you're already set up. You're already feeling close to them. You're already feeling emotional ties to them. So by the time that they actually, try to like touch you and stuff, you're more prepared because you have under this false illusion that you two have built something via text, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever y'all is using. You that sense means something to you. And I keep warning you that that doesn't mean anything. Don't let men text you like that. Don't let men date you by text. Don't let them date you by FaceTime. Make their asses show up and take you out. And no, you ain't going to their house and they're not going to come and lay up at yours either. That's not a date. Dating is out of the house. And don't have to be expensive, but it has to be out the house. Okay. So they talk about, oh, you're going to see that movie. We can go this week, and I want to take you to my favorite restaurant next time. Why do you let them get away with that? Say, when is next time? I need a date and a time. Hold their feet to the fire. Even if it doesn't come true, you still demanded something that's more tangible, right? So it kind of blows their cover because most of the time when they talk it like that, they're in their head creating this fantasy. They have no intention of making it come true. So you say, well, or when you're going to see that movie, we can go this week. Well, what about Tuesday? I'm free Tuesday. I only work half a day on Tuesday. I'm off. I'll be available after 5. What you doing on Tuesday? And see how they backtrack. And so you'll be able to see early on that he ain't about shit. And then you can stop getting investing in your feelings and having expectations. Best advice I can give you, young ladies, about this internet dating stuff, about dating period really, is approach it like it's an adventure. Okay, you don't know this clown. He don't know you. Do not go into it with expectations of leaving with a boyfriend, a connection, something meaningful. Just go into it like, you're going on a job interview. That should be about how exciting it is. It's essentially what it is, but the job would be being a boyfriend or a girlfriend, right? So that's essentially what it is. Now, when you go for a job interview, of course, especially if you broke, you do hope you get the job. But sometimes by the time you go on the interview and you find out what the job is, you decide that you can continue to be broken another week or two. You'll pick up some cans of bottles or do a temp assignment or something because that job ain't, you already know that ain't the job for you. See, that's why I say dating has to be approached the same way. Don't get all these, put all this hopes and build dreams and shit on it about somebody that you don't even really know. It's just too much. And you just end up, with your feelings, your hopes dashed and your feelings hurt anyway. Most of these men ain't about nothing. Okay. So that's my advice for you. Then you wouldn't be feeling, what you say here, you feel fooled every time. You wouldn't be feeling fooled because you would be like more in control of yourself. You'd be thinking rationally instead of emotionally about what's going on. So let's move on to question number 4. This young lady is also 22 to 27. Summary of issue. Is it normal to feel bored in a long-term relationship sometimes? Oh, absolutely. I'm 25 and I've been dating my boyfriend who's 27 for about 3 years now. Overall, things are good. We don't fight much and we care about each other. But I've noticed things are starting to feel a bit routine. Not in a bad way, just predictable. Same conversations, the same activities, the same schedule. I'm wondering if this is a normal phase in a long-term relationship or if it's a sign that something is missing. Do people who have been in long-term relationships for many years go through periods like this too? How do they keep things interesting? It's not, see, you in that Disney princess mindset. Don't you? Let's say, if you want something to be different, make it different. What I'm hearing here is, see, you keep expecting him to do it. That's why you wouldn't be complaining about it being routine. You would say, "Oh, this is a routine. What am I going to do to make it different?" What you going to do? You don't want complaining, so to me that means you're the one with the problem. You're the one that wants something to be different. That means it's up to you to change it. Now, you say like, I don't know, he used to like to go to the same restaurant all the time. He want to go to the same place for vacation. So I booked us a trip to Hawaii, right? He's like, "Oh, Hawaii." He didn't want to go. So I said, "Okay." So I said, "I'll take my mother then," right? So my mother was excited. She thinks she's going to Hawaii. Well, at the last minute, of course, he decided when I was about to change the ticket, he decided he wanted to go anyway. And then he went and had more fun than anybody. Loved it. Even tried to surf and shit. It's like, get your ass off that thing. Black people don't surf. Get out that water. Jaws is out there. But I mean, we had fun and he enjoyed himself. So it was like I opened up a window for him to, encouraging him to try new things. And then he felt comfortable seeing how receptive I was. Then he would start to, initiate the new things. Now, for some people, I don't understand how you could have the same conversations. That part escapes me because the world changes every day, as does your existence, as does everything around you. So how you could have the same conversations, I can't even conceptualize that. And if y'all had the same, yeah, you're gonna have the same schedule because mostly, people have to work and go to school, and that's on a set schedule. But the same activities, you're completely in charge of that. That's completely 150% in your court. So you don't like to have the same activities, get off your little lazy ass and do something different. Okay, don't write me complaining about your relationship being boring. Because my mother used to tell us there's no such thing as, being bored. There's only boring people. So if you're not feeling fulfilled and excited about stuff that's going on in your life, that's on you. That means you're boring. So think about that. Question number 5. This young lady's 22 to 27. Sort of issue. I'm thinking about breaking it off because this relationship is not progressing at all. I've been dating a guy for 2 months almost exactly. We talk on the phone and text every day. He initiates most of the time. We see each other once or twice a week. But here's the thing, we don't ever hang out on the weekends because he always seems to have plans. And I have twice now extended invitations to him for events with my friends so he can meet them, and he's declined both of them. He's not invited me to meet his friends or go with him to events he's filled his weekends with either. For the last 3 weeks, our dates have been home dates, so he isn't even taking me out anymore. And the real kicker, I'm the first person he's dated since his divorce many, many years ago. So he's told me he feels he should be dating other people too, but he isn't. He's twice now been offended by things I've said to him that he's taken completely the wrong way. When he told me he thinks he should be dating others, I continue dating others as well because obviously. But then he asked me about it and I'm honest and he gets mad at me. He said he feels he can't go out with others because he feels like he's cheating on me and recently told me he wasn't supposed to meet me on day one and he's scared. He said it feels like he's known me forever and it's not normal. It's 2 months in and we aren't even social media friends. Anyway, the lack of dates, the rejecting offers to meet my friends, the fact that he's altogether stopped taking me out on dates where we were actually doing something other than hanging at his watching sports or movies, and is constantly booking up his weekends has me feeling like a placeholder and unimportant. I think I need to look out for number one now and tell him this is over. What are your thoughts? Well, I mean, if you're not getting nothing out of it, then it certainly should be over. You know, if he's not fulfilling you, what kind of relationship that you want, then what's the point? You know, you want to go out, you want to do stuff, and you want to be, outdoors with doing stuff outside the house. He's not doing that. He doesn't want to meet your friends. He doesn't want you to meet yours. So, like, your relationship is, you're right, is at a standstill. It's like he's put up some serious barricades to developing greater intimacy with you. So he's keeping the relationship very superficial and shallow. If that's not what you want, then just cut him loose. He probably won't even notice you gone because he's just weird like that. I don't even know what to say. Question number 6. This is a young lady, 28 to 34. Summary of issue. Am I the only one that doesn't want to date multiple people at once? No, a lot of people are like that. I'm 30 years old and I'm just so rarely actually into anyone that when I am, I immediately focus 100% on them and it seems to always burn me. Like I recently met an awesome guy who checked all the boxes I could want. From the time we matched to the time it ended, we were texting nonstop, spent multiple days in a row together. Things felt like they were really progressing. Definitely too early to call it anything, but he was extremely attentive and thoughtful, and I was definitely starting to catch feelings. Then a month into it, he tells me he met someone new and wanted to see where it goes, since we hadn't talked about exclusivity yet. Even though he was fully transparent, I just couldn't do it. I told him I wasn't comfortable with it and we ended things there. I know probably moved too fast here, but the chemistry was insane. Even if we moved slower, I had zero interest in dating others. So his interest in doing so just felt like being blindsided and it was hurtful. I feel like I'm just not cut out for modern dating. I rarely like people, and when I do, I can't imagine dating others. I don't have the time or the mental energy. I don't know if this is just kind of a vent, but I would like to hear your thoughts. Well, my thing is this. I mean, you put 28 to 34 age group, so you know that this ain't working, right? It's not gonna work. I don't it doesn't matter what you feel and what you think and all that. Nobody has to think and feel the way that you do. So you're sitting there saying, well, I don't want to date other people while everybody else in the world, and just they have a commitment, is going to see multiple people. So you're gonna constantly be getting your feelings hurt because you just refuse to change your dating plan. I can't help you with this. You see that the way that you doing things is not working. It's dumb. It's counterproductive. And yet you insist on doing it anyway. Talking about, well, that's what I want. Well, I mean, but what you want is it's not working. So at some point you're either gonna keep getting your head bumped and get hurt more and more and more and more and more, or you're just gonna and roll with what is, not what you want it to be. And what is people don't commit to you. They keep seeing other people, even if they meet you. They might like you, but that doesn't mean they're in love. And it doesn't mean that they not couldn't like somebody else at the same time. That's why that's what I just said earlier in the show. You can't go into these dating situations with all these expectations and all these dreams and visions and stuff. It just never works. I mean, it's cute. I mean, you could be, appreciate the guys and all his good qualities and stuff like that, but don't be painting your last name with his and, imagine what your wedding colors and kids would look like and all this kind of stuff. Don't do that to yourself. You guys might be think that's crazy. So many women do that. It's like it's just pointless though. Why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I don't even want to think about it when they propose. I'm like, oh, wait, whoa, why? Why we have to do that? I'm too young to die. But just I, you are cut out for modern dating, but you just one of them stubborn types. You just want it to be the way that you want it to be, and I'm telling you that's not gonna happen. So I don't. You're just gonna be single and alone the rest of your life, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Question number 7. This is a young man, 28 to 34. Summary of issue. Why do so many of us men believe in being aloof and nonchalant is the way to get girls? Okay, so you a man and you trying to get girls. Do you see how stupid that sounds? You already fucked up. Just the way you wrote your letter. Men date women. Little boys date little girls. You are referring to adult women as girls shows that your mind is not right. And so that's going to be a problem. Okay, okay. So he said, why do so many men believe being aloof and nonchalant is the way to get girls since like teenage time? He's 28 to 34 now. What the fuck? I don't know why. Is it the media? An internal fear? I don't know. But I always thought not showing too much interest is the way to win a girl over. Unbelievable. Now that I show overt interest, I get some results. I go out of my way to say I like them or make efforts. That's when I started getting serious results. But I feel like such an idiot that I needed 29 years to actually start doing it. Okay, am I supposed to comment on that? Supposed to say something about this? Um, I think so many of you men believe it because that's what you were told by other men who were stupid and believed it. And you believed them because you were dumb. See, if what men would do, instead of listening to stupid men about women, talk to women. Why would you? It would be like me trying to. I want to learn about fishing, but I'm gonna go talk to somebody who builds motorcycles. I mean, he might know a little bit about fishing, but I'm gonna go to the old dude who's caught like hella fish and has like won championships and has like a whole bunch of different rods and reels and baits and stuff like that and tackle. I'm gonna go talk to that person because obviously that person is an expert. That person gets results. That person has experience in history. I'm not going to talk to somebody who hasn't been fishing since he was 12 when he went with his uncle that one time. I'm not going to do that. And that's what so many of you men do. You just listen to somebody because they have a platform and they charging and you think that they know what they're talking about. And you follow along with them like little lemmings instead of asking women what they want. If you just like when you're fishing, right? Some fish like worms, some fish like live bait, some fish bite on like, feathered things like trout, the little lures. Some fish eat other, smaller fish. So it's like what you got to give a fish the kind of bait that it wants to get on your hook. You talking to these men and they don't have no women on their hook and you follow along behind them. Even if they have a woman, it's the kind of woman that you want. Because there's a whole bunch of women out here. I mean, some of them are like, polished professionals, and some of them are really family oriented, and they want kids and a husband and a house family, and that's their number one dream is to have all these people to love and take care of. I mean, if that's the kind of life you want, then you get to go for that woman. You don't go for the career woman. If you're the kind of dude that you're strong in your career, you're not really tripping about having kids. You want a woman who's strong in her career too. You go listen to a dude who's got that stuff going on in his life, because he can show you, he can model it for you how to do it. Okay. So that's the problem I have with most men. They just kind of dumb. I just don't understand how you guys think about stuff. It's just like you go to the source. You go to the ones who can tell you with expertise because they are that thing. This, it's yeah, red pill, some kind of something, because my time is way before they ever heard of red pill. It's just a bunch of stupid people. Just stupid. Just listen. Well, yeah, man, because you got to do like this. You got to treat them like that. You got to, and they just listen to it like it's the gospel. And it's like, and then you see this clown is still single himself. What are you talking about? Why would you listen to him? And like I said, the main thing is, the guy has to be clear on what kind of woman he wants because, the women have different focuses. The career girl, the one who wants to travel and be a bohemian, the one who wants family and children, maybe a mixture of the two. I mean, the guy has to be real clear on what's going to work with him and what, his heart is yearning for. And then he goes out to get that kind of woman by listening to a man who's got that kind of woman. You don't look at these idiots online that are telling you stupid stuff and denigrating women and taunting women and nagging women and all this kind of stuff. That no woman likes that. We want a man that's going to build us up, not tear us down. The fact that you even think that that's something that you should do and that's going to entice a woman to want to be with you is just it's just mind-boggling to me. That they even think that that's something that a woman would want to be bothered with. Why would somebody want to be with you and get torn down every day? And how would that make you feel as a man to sit there and to, be negative about your woman all the time? I mean, would that do to your spirit, your psyche? I mean, you sound like a miserable fuck instead of somebody that somebody would want to fall in love with. So I just Kimberly, yeah, I know they don't listen, but they much to their detriment, then they come crying about it later. Oh, no woman ever wants me. I can't ever find a good woman because you're just stupid. I don't know what else to tell you. Question number 8. This young lady's 22 to 27. Summary issue. I was a quote catch. And then he quote found a spark with someone else end quote. How do I stop feeling like an idiot? Deb, I met this guy on a swipey thing 2 months ago. Well, that's your first problem. He started the conversation talking about Nook Nook, to which I said, I'm not interested in Nook Nook only relationships. He said that he was open to seeing where things go, and we went for coffee. Okay. Everybody who knows me on this channel, what should she have done? Let's play the Jeopardy music. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, Nikki. Okay, first paragraph of this letter. She says she missed the guy on the swipey thing 2 months ago. He started the conversation talking about Nookie. Exactly. Kimberly wins the prize. Instead, he backpedaled, said he was open to seeing where things go, because basically what that phrase means is, let me see how stupid and dumb and desperate you are as a woman and what I can get out of you before I dip out, like I just told you I want to dip out in the first place, but you didn't listen. And so you go out for coffee. Okay, so now this is the way he said, oh, let me see this dumb bitch in person. Let me lay eyes on her. So it was nice, she says. That first day we kissed. See what I mean? Amanda told you all he wants is some ass, and you going out to with him, and you say you don't want that, but then you kissed in a lip lock with him, and you just met him for coffee. Okay, I just want to outline this as I go along because I don't want to forget anything. Okay, so a few days later, I invited him over to my house, and we had Nook Nook. In my head, we were casually getting to know each other. A few days later, he asked to come over again. He came over. I cooked dinner and it was all great. We had Nook Nook and it was really, really good. Then I asked him to hang out again and he said he was sick. After that, the texting reduced for a few weeks, to which I asked if he wanted to continue to hang out or if he was done. He said yes, but then canceled the day we were supposed to meet. After a few days, he asked if he could come over to my place and I was busy. So I said no and I invited him a couple of days later. Today I texted him and he said he met someone who he was interested in seriously, to which I replied, ouch, and told him I would have liked to get to know him. He said he was sorry for the confusion and that he never felt a real connection with me anyway. I felt dumb and hurt and wondered where did I fail because I feel like I explained what I was looking for in the beginning, but then gave in to something casual. I also feel it's unfair what he said about the connection since he never tried to really get to know me. I remember every single detail he shared with me, and he never asked me anything about myself. How were we supposed to connect if he's not willing to have deep chats? Deb, I want to vent, but I also want to know what is this connection he is talking about? I was genuinely interested in him, and it turns out he really does not give a shit about me. Girl, if I could give you a medal for being the most stupid broad that wrote in this week, I would. The man, I mean, what do you, he told you what he wanted. You said that wasn't. He said, "Okay, well, let's see where it goes." Because, like I said, he could sense that you didn't really mean what you said. Yeah, he said it like in the first sentence, the first thing right out the conversation. So I can't be mad at dude because he never deviated from what he said. He never came back saying, "Oh, I really like you. Let's try this," and then switched up on you. He never came back. He never changed what he said in the first place. All he wanted was some booty. He told you that in the beginning. So all this stuff you talking about, we getting to know each other casually, and you want to hang out and all this stuff. And he met somebody he's interested in, and you talking about ouch. And then where did you fail? Your failure was that you did not honor yourself and what you said that you wanted. You never honored that. Yeah, but she just didn't listen. That's right, Mom. Just didn't pay attention. She paid attention, but not really. She listened to the words, but she didn't really hear him. There's a difference between hearing and understanding what somebody's saying, and taking it to heart, and then just letting the words go in one ear and out the other. She was the ear out, ear in and ear out one. So, girlfriend, I hate to be, so mean to you, but you kind of old for this to be acting like this. Like you, 22 to 27. I guess you maybe, but still, you should be past this elementary school kind of game like this at that age. Every woman in your age group ought to know this already. There should be some kind of new game that maybe will trick you up, but not when a dude is comes straight, tells you out the gate that that's all he's looking for. What in the world did you think was going to happen here? He never expressed any interest in you ever. Not one time did he say he wanted to be with you like that. You was offering up some ass. Of course, he jumped in there and took it. That's all he wanted in the first place, which is exactly what he told you. No, I know. It's unfair what he said about connection because he never tried to get to know me. He wasn't trying to get to know you. He just wanted some coochie. And you knew that. I remember every detail he shared. He never asked me anything about just myself because he didn't want to know you. He only cared about one part of your anatomy. Once you gave him that once or twice, and he was like, "Oh, well, it was good, but it wasn't that good." Then he moved on to somebody else. Whew. Okay. I know you're probably in tears over there now, but this is kind of your fault. I can't really feel sorry for you. Question number 9. This young lady's 22 to 27. Some issue. Am I wrong for saying that I don't want to change my last name to his? My fiance is insistent that I either hyphenate or take his name or he won't marry me. I feel it should 100% be entirely my choice to change my name or not. I don't know what to do. Okay, the wedding is in a month. I don't really have anyone else close to me that can help me with ideas. There's no idea here. You want a man who's a traditional guy. Okay, that's what this means. He wants his kids and his wife to have the same name as him. He offered you, which is a modern kind of compromise, to do the hyphenation thing, but that's not good enough for you. You want to marry a traditional man who wants everybody in his family to have the same last name. Why you want to insist that he do something different is beyond my understanding. This is the man that you chose. Okay, then you want to argue with him about it. It's not going to work. He's not going to marry you because that's the kind of wife and family that he wants. You can't provide him with that, argue with him about this name thing. So either you capitulate and you become Mrs. Freddie Jones or whatever the hell his name is, or you marry somebody else who don't care what your last name is. But along with that kind of comes a mindset. When you have a man who said, he says, "Oh, this is my wife. This is, whatever," and it has his same name. For a lot of guys, that means something. Evidently, that's your dude. They want to have the same name. They want to be Mr. and Mrs. Blank, blank. They want all their little kids to be, the blank family. A lot of men dream of this from the time that they're young boys, of having a wife and being Mr. and Mrs., whatever his name is. So you try to take that away from him. Now, I'm not even going to read the rest of your letter because it's irrelevant. I'm explaining to you the mentality of the dude. It's like two sentences in, I already understand what's going on here. You want to marry the man and you don't get it. You want to fight with him about it. So what that tells me is that you two are not compatible. You might have fallen in love. You might have been thinking about getting married and all that old good stuff. And that's fine. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. But you are obviously not really the woman for him because you want to, dig your heels in about stuff. This is not the kind of thing that you the hill to die on. It's not really gonna hurt you one way or another. And even if you guys break up, divorce or whatever later, and you guys have your kids. I mean, it's nice when you take the kids to the school and you and the kids have the same last name. This is Johnny Brown, or this is your mother Susie Brown. Kids like that shit. It differentiates you from the baby mama crew. Okay. And you trying to set yourself up to look like a baby mama and your husband ain't having it. So you think about what I'm saying here, because you go to the schools and you got the mama's name this, and then each one of the kids got a different last name after they different daddies and all this kind of shit here be going on. Your husband's not about that life, and you would have a husband. Okay, he doesn't want that kind of association in his household. I don't understand why you having such a problem with it. So since you want to have a problem, then you stay away from him and go find somebody else. That's what you do. My God, lady, come the fuck on. Question number 10. This is a female, 35 to 41. Tell me of issue. I have a friend who is in constant competition with me. I have been very close friends with a young woman I've known now for 11 years. We are otherwise very close, as are our daughters, as are our daughters. Ooh, what a tongue twister. She has always been like this, but I've noticed something that's sort of tipped her over the edge currently. Me and my husband have finally sold our house after it being on the market for 8 months. We found our dream home and it is beautiful. My friend, I will call her Emma for this letter, has for some reason tipped her over the edge. We have been in our current home, it's a 2 bedroom, small but ideal home, for 10 years, along with Emma, who has the exact same house type but in a different area of one of them builders who went through building tract homes. She has also been at her house for 10 years, same as us. Long story short, she had no intent to move. She said they were happy where they were and they only have one child. But as soon as I announced that we finally sold her house and found somewhere else, the same day she announced to me that she got her decision in principle and sends me the screenshot. I feel like she cannot allow me to have my happiness or our moment. There's always a reminder that she can also do better as much as me. As soon as we bought our current home, where we have just sold, they booked an appointment with the mortgage advisor that day. As soon as I told her I was pregnant and broke the news, she didn't speak to me for a week and a half and explained she was happy for me, but had to understand that she was sad for herself. I don't know if this is normal behavior or is this in my head. Okay, she's just going on and on about this thing. Uh, When we were struggling to sell our house, she kept asking me lots of questions and almost seemed to take some pleasure in our difficulties. But now that we've actually sold it and are excited to move into the home we had our heart set on, she seems to be having a hard time accepting the news. And now I'm being given the silent treatment. She has a sister who doesn't speak to her anymore, and in-laws that she doesn't get along with, and close friends in the past who stopped talking to her slash ghost her, and she doesn't know why. They just keep their distance. Hmm. So I want to know, what do you think? Is this in my head or is this a normal friendship thing? I don't have a lot of close friends to compare her behavior to, but I must say I haven't had this sort of behavior noticed in my other friends. Well, I'm going to say this. Okay, this is your fault. Okay, you notice that you got this woman, you say she's in constant competition with her, and that, you've noticed that she always tries to one up you. Well, since you noticed that, I want to ask you, what was the point then for you to continue to put her all up in your mix? Why do you keep telling her stuff about yourself or what you're doing? Don't you know how to shut your mouth? You don't know how to move in silence. You don't know how to, just like when you suddenly say, oh, we moved after the fact. She don't need to know what your plans are like that. You did all this for running your mouth and telling all your business. So I mean, I know you're looking for me for it's for sympathy, but I can't have any for you women like this. You have big fucking mouths and you tell everything. You talk about stuff that you have no business talking about, especially in a situation where you know the woman is gunning for you. She's insecure and jealous and she's in competition with you and you already know that. And yet you go keep telling her stuff anyway and then be acting all brand new about her, being feeling competitive and trying to find a way to one up you what yet again. So you brought this on yourself. At some point, you will learn how to shut the fuck up. That's what you need to learn how to do. Okay? Just shut up. Everybody don't need to know all your business, other than you and your husband and the mortgage broker. Maybe whoever your babysitter is will have to babysit a new address. Those are the only people that need to know that you guys are moving. When it's time for you to transfer your kids' school, the school would know. But other than that, you don't need to tell everybody all the kind of stuff that's going on in your house. Lady, and like I said, I could see it if you didn't know that this is what was going on, but you know, and this have a long history of this, and yet you keep running your mouth and keep, creating the situations where she's feeling competitive with you. If you had to shut up and not told her, you would have moved and she would never know the difference, right? So this is on you. Yeah, she's jealous. I don't even know if it's low key. She kind of high key to me. She just she just a trip. And this lady just running her mouth. Oh my God. Question number 11. Summary of issue. My boyfriend called, oh, she's 22 to 27. Sorry about that. Summary of issue. My boyfriend called me controlling for wanting him to stay with me on my birthday. Wow. This happened a few days ago and I just can't stop thinking about it. He's still your boyfriend? That's the only part I'm trying to hear about. I'm 25 and he's 29 and we've been together for about 2 years. Been living together for around a year and a half. So you only was dating and you moved in together after 6 months. Oh, okay. We went out for my birthday dinner with our mutual friends and everything was going well until the end when everyone had been drinking. My boyfriend suddenly asked if he can walk me back home to go back out to keep drinking with the guys for the rest of the night. I told her I wasn't comfortable spending my birthday night alone, especially since I was already feeling kind of down about some other stuff that was going on. I thought he would understand. We got in our ride share to head home, and that's when everything went wrong. He started going off on me, calling me controlling and saying I was a terrible girlfriend, bunch of other mean stuff. I kept telling myself it was just the alcohol talking. Even our driver noticed how nasty he was being and told him he should want to spend my birthday with me. My boyfriend just gave this sarcastic yeah response. When we got to our place, it got so much worse. He was yelling at me to go to hell and just being completely cruel. I tried to stay calm, but eventually I lost it and told him I was tired of his disrespect, especially toward his own girlfriend. He stormed off to sleep in the guest room while I cried myself to sleep alone on my birthday. Now I'm questioning everything. Was I actually being controlling by asking him to stay with me on my birthday? I need some real talk here because I don't know if I'm in the wrong. Any thought or advice would be helpful. Well, I'm going to say this. He felt like he had already spent the part of the eating with you that was valuable, the early part of dinner, the partying, the drinking and stuff, and then he wanted to just chill out with his buddies for the rest of the night. You, even though like the typical thing people say, well, he should want to spend your birthday with you. Why? When you're just gonna be asleep anyway. He wasn't ready to go to sleep. Why, if you were tired, why don't you just go back to the house and go to sleep? Right? What difference does it make where he is if he's not sleepy? He'll be in the other room wide awake, or he would just be, at the place having a good time with his friends and wide awake. So I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily put the label controlling on it, but it just seems a little odd. You'd already been with him all evening, and plus you're gonna see him all the next day. You saw him earlier in the day and the day before that too. Now, the fact that you are the 28 something year old person, 28, you're 20, wait a minute, 22 to 27. Okay, so wait a minute, 20, you're 25, he's 29. Okay, so let's just assume that was your 25th birthday. Aren't you kind of old to still be clinging to birthdays? Like it's a special thing? That's like for little kids. He spent the birthday part with you that was important with all your other friends and whoever else you had there. What I'm not understanding what the big deal is. To you, it's like, your birthday is like a national holiday or some shit. It's just a day. Guess what? Since there's only 365 of them, you know how many other people have that same birthday? Zillions. It's not that big of a deal. It's not special like you want to imagine it is. So I don't think he need to go to the point where he was cussing you out, telling you to go to hell and all that kind of stuff. But I do understand his frustration. It would have been nice if you just said, "Sure, I'll Uber home and you just Go hang out with your buddies. I'll see you in the morning or what, see you later or whatever. Was the deal. I mean, you're obviously tired. That's why you want to leave, right? So why did you want him to be tired with you? And you talking about, well, I had some other things that were going on. Why is that his problem? You're a grown ass woman. You somebody to hold your fucking hand like a emotional support here person. Well, I mean, what could he do to change the fact of some events that already happened? Those are things that are going to require you as a grown woman to figure out. A lot of things as women, you want to put the responsibility on your men, on your relationship. It's nice if they have, they do support you, but that's not going to happen all the time, and it's not going to happen exactly the way that you want it, even when it does happen. Okay, at some point you have to learn how to figure shit out yourself. And if you have a guy who can provide you support when you really need it, when it's like a crisis, then you've done well. But little basic day-to-day bullshit, he shouldn't have to drop everything and change his whole life to hold your hand while you whine and cry like a toddler. So your expectation that because you had a bad day, he should cancel going out with his friends or hold your hand is just unrealistic. So all in all, um, well then she should have left home or left earlier or told him that this is what she wanted or got it before they left. But if they live together, you know what I mean? I mean, it's nothing you can't get the next day. Like my microphone keeps going in and out. It's driving me crazy. They live together. So it's like, what's the big deal? Get it later when he get back home or get it in the morning. I mean, you get what? It's not, after so many years together, it's really not that big of a deal. And just because you get your birthday, I mean, whoop big whoop de doo. Yeah, he slept in the guest room. I would have, if I was him, I would have just went back out the door personally and just left you there. But at least he stayed in the house with you like you wanted. But look how you fucked up the evening. You did that to yourself. Question number 12. This is a male, 22 to 27. Summary of issue. Am I an asshole for kicking my sister out? I'm 23 and I live with my sister who is 19. Unfortunately, due to the way she was taught when she was young, instead of throwing the toilet paper in the toilet when she uses the bathroom, she throws it on the floor. Wait, what? Does your sister have like, issues? I mean, something going on? She's not like, all the way there. Is that what you're trying to say? I have told her multiple times that she can't do that and my bathroom stinks. I've cleaned it up several times, but she'll start doing it again and I'm sick of it. Today was my final straw. She was using the bathroom today and lo and behold, she didn't clean up after herself. I talked to her about it and she shrugged. Okay. And said to me, and I quote, "It's your job to clean it up. I can't throw it into the rubbish bin." And I was livid. I said, "I am your brother, not your maid. Even if I were, most maids won't clean up after you. Get out now." She said, "What?" And said I was cruel. My sister posted about it on Facebook and I got bashed by our relatives for being a selfish brat. So I need to know if I'm an ass for kicking her out. Nope. Not at all. I'm surprised it took you that long. I mean, I could see it. It doesn't sound like though you never mentioned that your sister had some issues, that she was on the spectrum, that she had, something going on. But I mean, even I had some cousins that have Down syndrome. They don't even do that. It's like what you teach them to do, they'll do it. So and they like to be clean. I mean, they know how to take a shower and all this kind of stuff. They're not trying to do no funky stuff like that. So your sister's being nasty like this intentionally. This is gross. Not to mention unsanitary. Like hell. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? I try to when people have issues like that, I try to, usually they can learn it, but might take them longer to, get it down and stuff. But I'm telling you, these people just because they have special needs does not mean that they can't learn anything. So it just might take longer. You might have to remind them more often. They might need some supervision if they're not, real steady or whatever. But that doesn't mean that they can't do it. And so in this case, she can do it. She's choosing not to. And so you'll tell your relative that was bashing you to take her nasty, shitty toilet paper thrown on the floor self into their house then. That's what you do. Say, I'll be perfectly fine with you doing that. You take her into your place since you think it's such a grand idea. I fully support that move. Yeah, and they would quickly toss her out too. Question 13, this young lady, 20 to 34 age group, summary of issue. Am I wrong for refusing to hand over the car my mom left me in her will, even though my older brother says he needs it more? Well, he telling him to get his own fucking car. Hey, Deb, my mom passed away about 8 months ago. I'm still not okay, but that's not what this letter is about. She left me her car in her will, specifically me. She wrote my name. She had a reason for it. When I was in college, she promised me that when the time came, she would make sure I had reliable transportation because I had been taking the bus for years, and she hated that I was getting home at midnight from work because of the route schedule. She told me this multiple times, and she put it in writing. The car isn't brand new or anything, but it's in great shape, low miles, and fully paid off. For someone in my position, it's a life changer. I don't have a car payment. I can get to work in 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half. I can actually live a life without planning everything around a bus schedule. My older brother got the house with equity and savings and furniture and everything in it. He was taken care of generously. But apparently that's not enough because last month he came to me and said he thinks it's only fair that I give him the car or sell it to split the money. He said his truck has been having problems and fixing it is expensive. And since mom left him the house, the least I could do is help him out with transportation. The least I could do with the one thing my mother specifically left for me that she promised me, that she put in a legal document. I said no. I told her mom left to me and that I wasn't giving it up. He said I was being selfish and that mom would be sick if she saw me hoarding something when family needed help. That's the part that sent me over the edge. Don't you dare tell me what mom would think. She told me what she thought. She wrote it down. She signed it. She made it legal. And he got the house, the whole house. He's standing in my apartment telling me I'm greedy for keeping a measly car. He's been calling other family members, and now I have aunts and uncles texting me saying that I should consider helping him out because he's struggling and family takes care of each other. Family takes care of each other, but nobody was checking on me when I was riding the bus at midnight for 3 years. Nobody offered me rides. Nobody helped me with a down payment on a car. My mom was the only one who ever gave a shit about that, and she handled it the only way that she could. I refuse to give up the car. I don't care who calls me. I don't care who texts me. She left it to me, and that's the end of it. Good for you. I would suggest blocking those people so they can't call you anymore or change your number. I would do one of those. As far as your brother coming to your place to harass you, feel free to get a restraining order. Don't hold back just because he's your brother. And the thing like all them relatives and stuff to tell your brother you want you to sell the car and tell him sell the house and you get half of that. And then we can do that. But other than that, I'm not selling my half while you get to keep everything. We're not gonna do it that way. You sell that half house and give me half the money, and I'll sell the car and give you half the money. Now let's do it that way. And then you can go get your truck fixed, and I can do what I need to do as well. Is that gonna work? Make sure you tell if you guys have an attorney, you tell the attorney that that's what you want to do, so that everything is handled through handled legally, and you get your money right out of the escrow. Tell them that's the only way that you'll sell your car. I mean, let him have the car. It's if you both sell what your mother left you and split the funds equally, right? And that seems fair to me, right? Other than that, you keep your car. Be careful. Make sure you have it someplace parked up where they can't get to it though, because I detect uh your brother is an asshole. So likely the car would get stolen or wrecked or something would happen to it so that you didn't have the car. So you need to be very careful, get an alarm put on it, some stuff like that. Do some preemptive measures. Park it in a garage if you have one that you can rent. If the one doesn't come with your apartment, look around and see what you can do to help protect the gift that you were given. Okay. Question 14. This young man's 22 to 27. Summary of issue. I told my friend group to shut the fuck up about how I treat my girlfriend, and it caused a lot of drama. Yeah, it is very unequal because even if it's a little raggedy house, it's probably, no matter where the house is, it's probably worth about 300,000 at least, right? And she just get a car. So, like if the mother was sensible, she would have left the house to both of them, which she actually may have if this person hasn't really looked at the will. She might have just left her the car and told him to split the house. But the brother, if the brother got the, got the will before her, he's going to sort of put his own spin on it. But I would be very suspicious if I were her. I'd give me a lawyer to look into that. Because I mean, it seemed like she should get half of the house too. He shouldn't get all of that, and she only get a car. That doesn't seem right. Thanks for reminding me because I was thinking that too. Let's look at this. Okay, so he told his friends group to shut up. Okay, Deb, I've been with my girlfriend for 3 years. She is the best thing in my life, and I don't say that lightly because I was in a really dark place before I met her, and she pulled me out of it. I love doing things for her. I buy her food, I plan dates, I get her little random things when I see something that I think she would like. It's not performative. I genuinely just like making her happy. My friends have been giving me shit about it for the entire relationship, calling me whipped, saying I have no backbone, asking if she has me trained. Wow, how rude. Making jokes about me being her servant. For 3 years, I've been dealing with their bullshit, girl. Dude, that's like 2 and 3/4 years more than I would have. I let it slide for a long time because I figured it was just banter, but it kept getting worse. Last week, we were all out at a bar. My girlfriend asked me to grab her a drink while I was up. I said, sure. When I came back, one of our friends, loud enough for the whole table to hear, said, damn, bro, she doesn't even have to snap her fingers and you just go. I put the drinks down and told them all to shut the fuck up. I said, I'm so sick of being made fun of for treating someone well. I said, none of them have ever had a relationship last more than a few months. And maybe that's connected to the fact that they think being good to someone is embarrassing. I told them I was done hearing it. And if they brought it up again, I was out of the friend group. It got real quiet. My girlfriend looked a little uncomfortable. One of my friends said I was being way too sensitive and that they were just messing around. Another one said I went too far bringing up their relationships. But I didn't go too far for 3 years. 3 years of hearing that shit. Nobody ever checked themselves, so I did it for them. Should I have handled it differently? Yes. You should not have waited 3 years, my man. Okay, you thinking, you being patient, but what you essentially did is let them disrespect your girlfriend for 3 years. You see how I reframe that? You allowed them to disrespect your girlfriend for 3 years. And then finally, you finally woke up and then reacted. But that's something you should have shut down as soon as they started that shit. The first time they did it, you should have shut it down. One thing you do as a man, when you make a decision about your life, you stand by it and you don't let other people ridicule it. They don't have to understand it. They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to do what you do. They can continue living their little miserable, sorry lives, ribbing each other like adolescents, which is that's the mentality that they have. Grown men with happy homes and wives don't behave the way that your friends do. Your friends are idiots. And so that's something that you should have told them at the beginning. It's like, men who are married and happy and have happy wives and happy kids and families and stuff, well loved in their communities, don't behave the way that you guys do. You guys are buffoons, children in the mind, mental kids. You still act like you 12-year-olds and somebody, pulled little Susie's hair and everybody else is all key and keying about it. You are the most immature group of pig-headed fools I've ever met. It's embarrassing that I'm even friends with you. As a man, let me correct that shit right now. I'm out. Don't none of y'all call me. Don't just forget you knew me. That's what you should have done. Because you by letting them do that, that's total disrespect, my man. You let them disrespect you and your girl for 3 years. And then now you blowing up and letting them, saying that you too sensitive. No, motherfucker, I wasn't sensitive enough. There's some shit I should have said to you 3 years ago. But your dumb ass don't even have sense enough to know when to shut the fuck up. So here we go. You're gonna keep talking about me until we end up in a fist fight. I'm not taking this shit. So this is the last time. I don't want to hear no shit from none of you motherfuckers about me, my choices I make, or how I love somebody. It's not for you to judge. Worry about your damn self. That's what you should have told them. Messing around. You don't mess around with somebody like that. That's disrespectful. You went too far bringing up their relationship. No, I didn't go far enough. Because I didn't even tell you what the girl said about you. Now I make up some shit. Yeah. I mean, it's like, because me as a woman, if I had a boyfriend who his friends talked to him like that about the stuff he did for me, I would break up with her. I said, you got one time. If you don't fix this and check those motherfuckers, we're through. Because one thing I'm not going to do is sit here in with your buddies and have the way, the way that you treat me and show your respect and caring for me be denigrated like that. And by turn, by them denigrating the behavior and the way that you treat me well, it shows that what they're saying is that I'm not worth it. And I'm not going to sit here and tolerate that. I'm not going to accept that from you or anybody else. So that's how I would have went down with if it was me. So see, we wouldn't still be dealing with each other in 3 years. This would have never happened because I would have checked him that first day. This is some bullshit. I'm glad you finally handled it, but you was like way late, my brother. In the future, if you run into some shit like this, you say something right away. Open your damn mouth. Let somebody talk about your lady like that and your choices and how you love them. Be a fucking man. This is ridiculous. Question number 15. This is a male 20 to 34, some issue. I hooked up with my best friend and I don't regret it at all, but now I think I'm in love. We've known each other since we were little kids and we're now both 28. She's been my constant, the one person I could always be completely myself with. It was always the best time we spend with each other. We both have established careers and we are good. Last year, everything shifted. She ended a 10-year relationship. Mine fell apart about the same time. We leaned on each other the way we always had, but we had more dinners, more late nights at her place, more of everything that always felt easy between us. Last week, I got invited to a high end gala and I asked her to come as my plus one. She works in luxury jewelry as a private client manager and she knows that world. I told her I honestly want a good company and a beautiful woman beside me to feel confident walking in. She made me say it properly before she agreed. That means official asking out. So we got ready together. She helped me coordinate with what I was wearing, and I noticed something I shouldn't have paid attention to. I had butterflies in my stomach. I brought her flowers. It wasn't romantic. I just wanted her to feel special. The night was good. We networking, dancing, genuine fun. On the way back, I took her through a drive-through because we were both hungry. I didn't want the night to end. We talked. It was easy, like it always is with her. We came back to get place. I think he means her place. It was already midnight. She made some juice for us. One thing led to another. We started flirting, then making out, and before I knew it, we ended up having nook nook. When I woke up this morning, I felt this huge wave of guilt. Like, what did I just do? She wasn't acting weird though. She seemed calm, even a bit affectionate, giving me these soft looks that made me feel like she didn't regret it at all. The thing is, I actually enjoyed it. It was honestly one of the best experiences I've ever had. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever had nook nook with. But at the same time, I can't stop thinking that I might have ruined something really important. Oh my God, you're an idiot. I'm in love with her. If I'm going to date her, that's only means the end goal is to marry her. I can't imagine a life without her. Hopefully, 3 kids in our 30s, since we both share, we want three. But I never had the idea kids will be half hers and half mine. I'm going to talk to her tonight. I'm nervous, but I have a feeling that she's going to be my girlfriend. Well, duh. Why do you think she was giving you those looks? You just a donkey. I don't know how to start dating life and transform our relationship into something more. She is not some random girl. So I'm shy and a bit difficult to take it to the next level. Any advice and tips will be helpful. Well, since I know you already probably did it without waiting for me since I'm so late, but I'm going to say anyway, just in case you didn't and were waiting for me, all you have to do, since she was giving you them soft looks and stuff, she's communicating how she feels about you, you idiot. So all you have to do is go back to her house or have her come over to y'all do your thing. Do not change how you relate to her. Just say, okay, you guys are friends, right? So you just say, okay, so we already did the magic, whatever. So you ready to take this to the next level and become a couple? That's all you have to say. It doesn't have to be a big proclamation. It don't have to be no big deal. You ain't getting down on your knee. You not gonna make a big production out of it. You just gonna be sitting there watching TV and you gonna say, you ready now to be a couple? And she's gonna say yes. I thought you would never ask. And then you're gonna reach over there and grab her hand and hold it. Then you're gonna kiss her on the forehead. You're gonna kiss her right here. And you're gonna say, I love you, thank you for being with me. And then y'all just gonna do what you always do. Don't you dare change. Okay? You just take it from there. Your families will probably be thrilled. That's all you have to do. You just making this like a big production. You could have done that the same day when she got up looking at you the next day with them little soft eyes you was talking about. But instead, you retreated into your head and started manufacturing a whole bunch of crazy conversation. Good Lord. I can't roll my eyes hard enough. Let me have a swig of my tea. Let's move on. Question 16. She's 18 to 21. Sort issue. I got friend zoned, but he says he's open to an FWB. I bet he is. Do I lose this friendship or accept the no strings attached? I recently had a what are we conversation with a guy I've been seeing. When we first met, he was upfront that he wasn't sure what he was looking for and wasn't sure he was in the right place for a relationship. He's 20, I'm 19. However, as we kept hanging out, we would text every day, call when we had the chance, and the vibe between us felt flirty and close. Because of that, I started to feel like maybe he was interested in seeing where things could go. When we talked about it recently, he apologized and said that although he does find me attractive and enjoys spending time with me, he still doesn't feel like he can manage a relationship right now. He mentioned that he sees us as friends and wouldn't necessarily be opposed to flirting or doing more, but I realized that a friends with benefits situation would probably hurt me emotionally because I do like him. I understand he was honest from the beginning, so I know part of my disappointment comes from hoping that things would change as we got to know each other better. I'm mostly wondering how you think other people should handle situations like this. How I would handle something like this? Is that what you're trying to ask me? Is it possible to stay friends when one person has feelings, or is it usually healthier to create some distance? Oh, no, you should always create distance because the person with the feelings, which in this case is you, is going to always be hoping for more. And then when you see that person out with other women, you're going to be devastated. Also, it sets you up because that person knows that you have feelings, so you're easy to manipulate using those feelings. The best thing you could do is go into your phone and block him and then never see him or talk to him again. That'd be the best thing you could do. Of course, he wants, he's going to accept the FWB because I don't know, man, yet is going to turn down some free coochie. You just giving it to them. They don't take it. I mean, you done already told you what time it is and you just go throw yourself at them and give it to them anyway? What would you do that for? But I mean, it happens. Who am I to say anything? You know, you can't be friends with someone that you wanted to date or used to date. That is an oxymoron. Okay, can't do it. Does not compute. Question 17. This is an older guy, 50 to 56 years old. Third issue. Do you think I overstepped when I fixed my daughter's car after her boyfriend said he'd handle it? My daughter is 21 and we've always been pretty close. She moved in with her boyfriend a couple of months ago. It was a little tough seeing her move out, but I know she's an adult and she's building her own life. She drives an old Corolla with a lot of miles on it. A couple of weeks ago, she mentioned the steering wheel had started shaking when she got up to highway speeds, and sometimes the front end would shudder when she braked. Oh, she got some rotor problem. She told me her boyfriend had said that he would take care of it. But another week went by and it still hadn't been looked at. Last weekend, she came by my place and said it was getting worse. It was starting to make her nervous to drive. So I took it for a quick spin, and sure enough, the wheel was shaking pretty good, around 60 miles an hour, and it shuddered when I hit the brakes. I pulled the front brakes off in the driveway. It was pretty obvious the front brake rotors were warped and the brake pads were worn unevenly. Yep. I ran to the parts store, grabbed new rotors and pads, and swapped them out that afternoon. Took a couple of hours, and after that, the car drove smooth again. My daughter was really happy and thanked me a bunch. To me, it wasn't a big deal. I've worked on cars most of my life, and she's my kid. A few days later, she and her boyfriend came over for dinner. At one point, he pulled me aside and told me I shouldn't have fixed the car. He said it was his responsibility as her boyfriend to handle that kind of thing, and that by doing it myself, I stepped on his toes. I told him I wasn't trying to prove anything. The car was getting worse, and I fixed it while she was there. Since then, he's been pretty short with me, and the vibe has been a little weird. My daughter says he feels like I undermined him. From my point of view, she's still my daughter, and if something on her car is unsafe and I can fix it in the afternoon, I'm going to. That's right, Big Papa. Let me explain. Oh, if this had been my daddy, oh my God. Okay, let me tell you how this would have been if this was Bob. Okay, so I'm driving the car and it's shaking, and I get there and he drive the car, and it's obvious the rotors are warped and fucked up. He probably would have pulled it off and got the drums machine though to make sure they were smooth before he put new pads and rotors on. But this guy doesn't sound like he did that, but whatever, as long as it worked. And then he fixed the car. So the daughter's happy. She thanks him. Her daddy fixed her car. So now the boyfriend gonna come over and try to flex. And he gonna say, it's your responsibility. Then you supposed to say at the day, well, the motherfucker, why didn't you do it? You had my daughter driving around in a car where the front end is shaking and she can't brake the car and the brakes are all fucked up. And you gonna sit here in my face and tell me what was your responsibility? Then you monkey motherfucker, that I would have poked him in his chest. You better take care of your responsibilities. If you can't take care of your responsibilities, I will step in and do it because that's what a man who has a daughter does. He gonna take care of his flesh and blood, no matter who the fuck she's living with. I don't give a fuck who you are, who you think you are. You don't take care of my daughter, the motherfucker would bring her ass back here and you leave her here. Cause see, if I had heard about her getting in an accident, the car lost control of the car and smashed into the guardrail or something, my daughter ended up paralyzed or some shit, then I would come for you. I would come for your ass and your parents would be burying you. So I'm telling you right now, you be happy that I fixed it so that your parents get to still have visits with their fucking son. That's what would have happened if it was my daddy. I already know. Mhm. That man. Oh, and it probably wouldn't have ended there because he would have cussed him all the way out the door. Probably called his daddy and cussed him out too. You know what I mean? I mean, just that's the kind of father I had. He was crazy. But no, you not gonna be coming up telling him nothing. It's so your responsibility, to motherfucker, handle it. You didn't handle it, I'll step in and do it. And you not gonna come and try to check me about it when you should have done what you were supposed to do. And you're gonna be having an attitude, you little bitch. That's what he would have got. So, Daddy, I'm 150% on your team, and you need to have a conversation with your daughter because this is some bullshit. The fact that she's tolerating this and staying in a relationship and want to live with somebody who treats her like this, something is wrong here. You need to go back and review your parenting because she went left at some point and is allowing herself to be mistreated. This is not good. So you get her somewhere, get her to come over and take her out to lunch or some shit, and y'all need to have a serious conversation because she's not understanding what his behavior towards her means. That danger that she's in when you have the car that won't brake like that. You gonna hit the brakes, the car gonna veer off the road on one side or another. Worse yet is when they don't stop at all. You get that metal to metal shit, and your car be like sparking and whatnot. And then you be trying to stop. You like Flintstones, trying to use your feet. Yeah, my father. Oh my God, I could just imagine somebody trying to get in that man's face, telling him that you undermined me. That's all I can say. Them parents would have been like, my son, ooh, my baby done died. It would be ugly. Question number 18, the female 18 to 21. Summary issue. My friend's dad made me really uncomfortable, and I'm not sure what to do now. So on Wednesday, I'm 18. I stayed over at my friend's house. She's also 18 because her dad was going to drive us to the beach, and he wanted to get there before traffic. All fine. He dropped us off, and then he picked us up later. On the way home, a song came on his playlist, "I Get Off," by somebody called Hailstrom. Storm, Hailstorm, whatever. He randomly told us this song is about a girl getting off on a man watching her through a window. He said that to you? And we were like, okay. And then he said exhibitionism. A lot of people get turned on from that. I'm pretty sure my friend, has it. So he's talking about his daughter, or is this her stepfather? Her dad. She just says her dad. I'm sure she has it because she leaves her curtains open all the time. And my friend awkwardly laughed it off, but I couldn't really tell if she was uncomfortable like I was. He told the story of how um, her mom, but he was making a lot of sexual remarks about her mom, and he's attracted and in love with her, but I really don't want to hear about how great her mom's ass is. Then we got back to her house because we wanted to hang out more and I wanted to play with her ferrets. Her dad asked me if I was hungry, and I said no because I ate a lot of food already at the beach. He made a comment about my stomach. I don't remember what it was. and pinched it. My shirt was cropped a little bit, so it ended up touching my bare stomach. Then, when he and my friend were driving me home, we drove by a shopping center near my neighborhood, and out of the blue, he pointed out a massage place and said, "That's a happy ending massage parlor. You can tell because the windows are tinted black and it's open until 10 p.m." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know why he felt the need to point that out. So am I overreacting for feeling uncomfortable? I don't know if I should bring it up with my friend because of what can she do about it, really? She goes back to college next week anyway. No, you shouldn't report this out to your friend. What you should be doing, though, is advising your parental units of what happened and what this man said. Because even though you're 18, still you got teen in there. To me, 18-year-olds are still kids. You're still a kid. 18, 19, you're still a kid. Shit, even 20 is still a kid to me. I mean, technically, under the law, you're an adult. I mean, for prosecution purposes and stuff like that. But as far as mentally and emotionally and knowing how to handle yourself in a world of adults, especially adult males, 18-year-old girls are kids. Okay, so you tell your daddy and your mama what this man did and what this man said, because when he touched your stomach, you're supposed to bust his hand off of you, like karate chop it away, and say, "Keep your fucking hands off of me. Don't touch me, motherfucker. I don't know you like that." See, if you was a little hood girl, that's what you would have said. But I can see that you're not, because you use that word uncomfortable. That usually means, sorry to say this, usually means a young white girl, because y'all be uncomfortable and you don't want to identify what it is you really feeling. You use that vague shit. I made a whole video about that. Instead of saying, "Motherfucker, you pervert. You perving on your daughter's friend." See, if I was your mother and you came and told me some shit like that, I would get my cousin. We roll up on dude, and it would be all girls. My cousin, like I like to tell you, I'm the littlest one in my family. 5'5". I'm the shortest one. They all like 5'9", 10. Big girls, tall, strong. They have them kind of hands, those hands that are like heavy. They have like Hulk hands. So when they slap you, it feels like you got hit with a brick or some shit. I don't know what kind of strength they have in them. They got them big ass hands. But yeah. See, daddy needs a reminder that you got some backup. And right now he's a little out of control. So you should tell your parents about this. As far as this girl goes, don't you go to her house anymore. You're not going over there. She can come to yours. You stay away from that father. You really need to stay away from her, really. But you grown. You're gonna make your own decision. But this kind of situation, I just don't see this ending well. And you ain't spending the night over there. Don't you even think about it. Question number 19. This is a male 18 to 21 summer issue. Am I a bad boyfriend for not buying a new car for my girlfriend? Wait, what? I'm 18. I started dating my now girlfriend. She's also 18. Let's call her Caitlin. Just under a year now, and things have been great. We hardly ever fight, and we see eye to eye on practically everything. She's always been a level headed and logical girl, which is honestly what made me fall for her in the first place. However, recently she's been kind of different, getting mad over small stuff and checking my socials at least once a week to see who's following me and sending me the people, girls she doesn't know. Neither of our accounts are private, so really anyone can follow either of us. So normally there's some random girl following me. She sends me a screenshot asking who it is and why she's following me. In all honesty, I have no idea who these girls are. I just unadd them as a follower and move on. It's also important to know about a month into the relationship, I moved to a different state, which made it about a 2.5 hour drive. I've been doing this drive once a week and spending a day or two there, then go back, since I still work full time and everything was great until I got into a crash on the way back from work. My car was totaled, but other than a bruised arm and being a little sore, I was fine. Now, this is where the problem is. I had bought that car when we first started dating to make the drive because my other car, a Ford Ranger, wouldn't be able to make that drive. And since then, the visit has only been 1 or 2 weeks in between. Mind you, I'm the only one going there. I guess he means he's the only one traveling. I've been going with my mom because we still own our house we moved from, and she likes to go there to work on the book she's writing in the yard. My girlfriend keeps saying how I need to buy a new car so I don't have to rely solely on my mom to go and visit her. When I said no, because I'm going to the military soon and I'd have to sell it anyway and I'd lose a ton of money, she started crying and told me that she's not worth the money and that I'm a jerk. Now she keeps bringing it up and even got her mom to text me about it. And they tried to sell me a new car for $9,000 from a family friend of theirs and said I don't have to buy it all in cash. And it's been a few weeks and this has come up more times than I can count. So would I be wrong if I don't buy a new car for the sole purpose of going to see my girlfriend? Nope. How would I handle this? I'd probably break up with her anyway because you got to be going to the military. You won't be able to see her anyway. You guys are gonna end up breaking up regardless. So what is this? And plus, the way she's getting her flying monkey to try to manipulate you into spending almost $10,000 for a car that she knows you would have to leave behind. And so she's thinking that you basically buying her a car. That's what she's thinking. You would be on the hook to pay for it, but since you'd be gone, she'd be the one able to drive it for free because you'd be paying for it. So no, 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 no. Just tell them they can buy the car and you'll just drive it back and forth until you leave for the military. And then you give her the keys and give her the car, and then it'll be her car. That's one way to do it. But the other way, which I think is the best solution here, is for you to just break this off. Okay. You don't need a girlfriend before you go to the military. It's going to add extra strain and stress. And she doesn't really sound like somebody she's too self-centered. It's kind of probably cheat on you when you was in the military anyway, because you wouldn't be there. I needed you and you weren't there, and he was here. I could just see it. She got that kind of mentality. Question 20. This is a female 20 to 34. Some of issue. Am I doing the right thing for not sending a guy I've been talking to $60 after I already sent him $40? So I've been talking. Oh, I'm not sending a motherfucker 20 cents. Let's see what she did. I've been talking to this guy. He is 32 and I am 29. Consistently for about a month, maybe, just a little over a month. We actually met in high school and used to talk on the phone a lot back then, but nothing ever came from it. Over the years, we would randomly run into each other, but again, it never went anywhere until recently we started talking again. So there was some familiarity there. He wasn't a complete stranger. He works on the road as an electrician and had just gone out of town for work. During the time we were talking, he started moving pretty fast emotionally. He told me he loved me and said that I was already acting like his girlfriend. That honestly turned me off a little because I felt too soon. But I still told him I liked him and that I thought the connection could grow. I just kept trying to pace things and not rush into anything. Then a few days ago, he asked me something like, if I ever needed something, could I come to you? Here we go. Niggas and they games. He framed it more like small things, like while he's on the road, like hygiene stuff or soap while he's working out of town. I told him, of course, I'm generally a giving person. So I sent him $40 just to help out, even though he didn't directly ask me for money. When I sent it, I also asked if that was enough or if he needed more, and he said he was fine. Girl, you done fell for the game. A couple of days later, he messaged me saying that he needed $60 to make it home. I told him I honestly didn't feel comfortable sending more money right now. We've only been consistently talking for about a month, and I didn't want to start doing too much too soon. After I said that, he sent me the $40 back and then blocked my number. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I did something wrong by saying no, even though I felt like it was a reasonable boundary this early. Yeah, would you have sent the $60? Was I wrong? I would, like I said, I would send a motherfucker 20 cents. I'm not sending you shit. So I just don't care about what you're doing. And first of all, he's working out of town. Where's his money at? Let me tell you how you fucked up. Okay, so you meeting this guy. He's 32 years old. You haven't really been interacting with him since high school, so you don't know what kind of shenanigans or lifestyle he's been living in the interim, right? You would randomly run into each other, but until recently, then you finally start talking. So he wasn't a complete stranger. So that means, he started with a little bit of an edge than a complete stranger would. So he works on the road as an electrician and gone out of town for work. Okay, so he says you acting like his girlfriend. That was the setup. And let me tell you, when people are on the road as an electrician, they get a travel budget. Their meals, they either have a card to pay for the things, or they get, reimbursed. Usually if it's your job and they send you out of town, you have an account, like, like a card. Your hotel is already usually paid for, booked by the company in advance, but they give you the card for incidentals like meals, water, gas for the truck, vehicle, whatever. Okay. So the company absorbs those costs. The person just brings the receipt back to prove, what it was spending. It's itemized receipt. So there will be no reason for him to ask you for anything. He doesn't need anything from you. That's why he's able to send you that $40 back right away. He didn't need any money. It was a test. See how much he could get out of you, how willing you were to be dumb. So then, he tried the girlfriend trick that turned you off, so it didn't really work the way he thought it was going to work. Because a lot of women, they hear girlfriend, they think, oh, he loves me. We're going to be together. I'm going to send him everything I got. He need $1,000. I'm going to borrow it. I'm going to make sure I get it to. I'm going to take care of my man. Okay. That was the setup. That was where he was eventually trying to take you. So, but then he asked you just outright, just blatant. So if I ever needed something, could I come to you? And then, hiding yourself. Like I said, they pay for all of that. They pay for all of that stuff for their people on the road. So, or he's supposed to bring it in his suitcase. I mean, I don't know what the problem is, but he should have money. He's a grown ass man, 32 years old. So you send him $40, though he didn't really ask you for it. He definitely hinted about it. And then he needed $60 to, quote, make it home. No, he didn't. That was his sob story to see if you would fall for it. So then the next time it would be $200, and then it would be $500, and then it'll be $800, and then it'll be $1,200, and then he would be knee deep in your wallet every time you turn around. Would he absolutely need your money? No. And even if he did, so that's what they have family for, and male friends. That's not your job who just met him 2 months ago. So all in all, you dodged the bullet with this one. It didn't cost you anything. You got your money back. And so in the future, don't you ever help a man. If he says he needs you to send him something, you tell him, call your daddy, call your mama, call your brother or your sister, call your uncle, call somebody who gives a shit, because that ain't me. I'm not going to be trying, we ain't married. I'm not taking care of you like that. Okay? Never help a man. Not like this. This, no. Question 21. She's 22 to 27 years old. So issue. I took my brother to court after he trashed my camera gear for a prank video on TikTok. Wow. I'm 24 and I work as a freelance photographer. It's my full-time job and how I pay my bills. My gear isn't just a hobby, it's my livelihood. Last year, I finally saved up enough to buy a high-end telephoto lens. It cost me nearly $2,200. I treat that lens like it's a newborn baby. My brother's 21 and he's an aspiring influencer. Let's call him Leo. He's obsessed with filming pranks and challenges for his followers. Most of the time, they're just annoying, like jumping out from behind doors. But lately, he's been getting more aggressive. Last month, I was at my parents' house for Sunday dinner. I had my gear bag in the hallway because I was heading straight to a sunset shoot afterwards. Leo thought it would be hilarious to film a clumsy video where he pretended to trip and drop my bag down the stairs to see my reaction. He didn't realize I hadn't zipped the side compartment all the way. When he tripped, my camera and the new lens tumbled out and bounced down 12 hardwood steps. The lens housing cracked and the glass elements inside were completely shattered. It was a total wreck. When I saw what happened, I was shaking with rage. Leo was still holding his phone and laughing and telling his fans that I looked like I was about to explode. When I told him that the lens was destroyed and cost over $2,000, the camera stopped rolling. He immediately got defensive. He said it was just a prank and I shouldn't have left my bag in a high traffic area if I didn't want it touched. He told me I didn't have that kind of money anyway and that I probably had insurance for it. My insurance has $1,000 deductible, but even then, my premiums would skyrocket. My parents took his side. They told me that Leo's just a kid trying to find his way. That shouldn't be so hard on him. Then you unasked the $2,200 then. One of you motherfuckers is paying for my lens in this house. That's the bottom line. Okay, they suggested I just forgive the debt as a birthday present to him. I gave his ass 2 weeks to come up with at least a deductible. He ignored my text and posted a video of himself out of the club the following weekend. That was the last straw. I gathered the repair estimate and the footage he was dumb enough to post online and filed a small claims suit. I won the case easily, But because he still refused to pay, claiming he was broke, despite his social media showing otherwise, I went through the legal process to garnish his part time warehouse wages. Now the family is treating me like a monster. My mom says I'm ruining my relationship with my only brother over equipment, and I'm also being cold blooded by taking money directly from his check. Leo sent me a message saying I'm the reason he can't afford his car insurance this month. I don't feel like I've ruined the relationship. I feel like his lack of respect for my work did. If he had shown even an ounce of remorse, I may have handled it privately. Did I do the right thing for not letting this go? Absolutely. But the only difference what I would have done is my parents trying to flex and talk about, well, this and that, and what you should do with your $2,200. Say, okay, what are y'all motherfuckers giving me $2,200? I'm not going to repair this lens. I want a new one because the repaired ones, they're never the same. I mean, I've had those things. It changes the refraction inside. It just something is always a little bit off. So it's better to just get a new one that's still under warranty. Because then that way, like if something happens to it, they swap it out and give you a new one. Because they all know it's just once the lens is broken, it's not the same unless it's just the internal part. I mean the external part, the cover, that is okay. They can replace that. But once stuff inside is start cracking, they gotta open it up and no, it's never the same. It's just not the same. So I'm glad you won the case, but yeah, that's the only thing I would have done different. I told my parents either you pay for him or he's gonna pay after I go to court. Which one do you want? Those are the only two options. You give me the receipt. It was $2,200 plus tax, or 2,200, whatever it was, $2,200 including the tax. You give me the money, and I want cash. I don't want a check. I want cash, and then we'll be square. But other than that, I'm not going to absorb the loss of this. This is not my fault. Your son broke it in your house. So if anything, like it's damage happened, they just look at to pay for it out of their house insurance, their liability insurance for their home. They could do that too. Either way, it should be on you to cover the loss for someone else damaging your property. So, yeah, good job. Question number 22. This is a young lady, 20 to 34. She says, I'm about to get engaged to my partner of 11 years, but I'm unsure how to move forward due to his financial entanglement with his mama. Okay, you've been dating for 11 years. Why? I'm 30. I've been with my boyfriend who's 31 for 11 years. We started dating when we were 19 and 20. He always said he didn't want to get married until 30, and now he's finally planning to propose and is planning on having to buy my ring with the 18-month zero APR credit card because he has no disposable income. We'll get to that below. I'm graduating medical school in May and starting a residency. He is an engineer. We split most expenses 50-50 throughout relationship. He pays about $500 more in rent, though. He moved across the country with me for medical school, which I truly value. The complication is his financial situation with his mom. When he was 25, he co-bought a property with her so she could qualify for the loan and set him up for future financial success. The house is currently rented. However, most of his disposable income still goes towards this property. Recently, he's asked his mom if he could stop paying into it since it's rented. The net plus 1,200 collected in rent, and she is currently collecting the rent with the mortgage still being paid by him each month. First, she said he owed back property taxes, which he paid. Now she's saying he owes for a new roof and flooring she chose to install to make it rent ready. It was already rent ready and is in a very lucrative area in San Diego. These were done without his prior agreement, and he's been asked to pay after the fact. The rental income allegedly goes toward repair, so he doesn't see any of it. And there's no end date in sight or amount agreed to have him stop paying the mortgage on an already rented property. Recently, it came to light that his mom doesn't want him to stop paying into the home because she is using the net positive income to buy her dream home, which she cannot do without continuing to collect money from him. She is quite old and has been saying this is her dying wish. He has little to no disposable income. We can't really plan travel or long term financial goals easily because of this. He believes this is long term investing and that the property will appreciate significantly over time. I worry that his finances and potentially our future will always be tied to his mother's decisions. I'm about to start earning a resident salary and I'm considering buying a home whenever I match because I'm tired of renting. I'm struggling with how to think about emerging finances or planning marriage when our financial philosophies and obligations feel so different. What do you recommend to people in long term relationships where one partner is financially entangled with family? That you see an attorney and get some advice. You in California. So it's going to be very important that you do this the way I'm telling you. You buy this property as a single woman. You have him sign a quick claim deed after you get, if you decide you're going to marry him. After you marry him, you have him sign a quick claim deed. You see the attorney because even if he moves in with you, there has to be very strict boundaries about what he pays for. He should pay for things that are tangible but disposable. That means he buys the groceries, he pays the light bill, he might pay help on the water bill, stuff like that. You don't let him pay any taxes. You don't let him pay any mortgage. You don't let him pay anything that's connected with the development of the property that could be considered him putting in some equity. You do not do that. See an attorney to have them outline an agreement that he must sign to live in your house. Okay, there should be an amount that he has to pay that's going to cover those, shared expenses. That's how you do that. Then his mama can't get her hooks on your house, and neither can he. Would I marry a man like this? Absolutely not. Because he's too stupid to realize he's been taken advantage of. His mother's pimping him, and he's letting her do it. What he should do is just tell his mother, let's sell this property because I need my money out. I'm about to get married, and we want to buy our own house. So we're going to sell this, or you can buy me out. But it's gonna be hard for you to buy out since you done put all that money in. If he can prove how much he's been putting in though, and how little the mother's putting in, then he might, if they would have to go to court. But he doesn't sound like he's be the kind that would want to, go against his mother like that. If it was me, I'd be coming in with all my receipts. Say, I want all this money back first, and then whatever's left, we can split that half and that 50-50. But other than that, I want all my money out back first. That's how I would do it. And I wouldn't care if my mother didn't like it. This is about my money. This ain't about no family relationship. Okay. Question 23. We're almost done. We got 25 questions. If you want to send in a question for this column for next week, please look at that QR code that's flashed up there on the screen. You can scan that with your phone. It'll take you right to the advice submission form. Just fill it out and submit your question. Okay. It'll be considered for inclusion rather, in an upcoming show. So she's 23, 18 to 21 age group. This is question number 23. Summary of issue. Talking to a guy with awful self-esteem, and I don't know how I can help him. You can't. It's a lost cause. Throw that fish back. We're both 18 and we've been friends and talking for 2 months. For context, he's a really sweet guy, but he's had a really hard time in school, so he doesn't really have good self-esteem. He always tells me that he's ugly and stupid and that I'm the best thing that's happened to him, even though we've only been kind of talking for 2 months. If I try to tell him otherwise, he would not listen to me and just continue self-blaming. We have gotten into fights before because I was trying to explain how I can't be his only emotional crutch, and he would continue to self-blame and just tell me that he doesn't deserve me and that I'm the best thing in his life, etc., etc. I also don't really think he has much sense of boundaries because he wants to hang out with me all the time, even though I don't. I really think he's extremely genuine, and this is actually how he views himself. He's been really sweet to me, and to be honest, I believe that he does like me, but he may not even know it himself because some of the things he does for me cannot be platonic. And I also think this is one of his first times seriously talking to a girl, so I don't want to mess it up for him either. I got to help him without making things too draining for me because I really do like him and I want to see where things go. I can tell you where they're going to go at 18. They ain't going to go nowhere, especially for somebody who's got low self esteem and don't think he can do nothing. He can't think he can be a success in anything. What are you going to do? Take care of him his whole life and run around trying to prop him up? He's never going to try new things because he's going to be afraid of failure. He's never going to want to do anything because he's going to be afraid that he can't be successful. So rather than try it, he's just going to sit around and wait for you to take care of him. This is a lost cause. Okay. I know you 18, you think you know everything, and you don't want nobody telling you nothing what to do because you want to help him. You cannot help a man. You cannot help someone who's got self-esteem issues. He has to help himself. He has to do that by getting his ass on some shrink's couch and working that shit out. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't patch him back together. He's Humpty Dumpty or some shit. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. So, a guy's got a shattered sense of self. There's nothing you can do. You're an 18-year-old kid yourself. What you supposed to do with that? This is something a professional needs to work with him on. Okay? You're not qualified. So stop it. You don't need to see where things go. You need to go apply for college in the other opposite coast. That's what you need to do. Get the fuck away from this fool. Question number 24. She's 22 to 27 age group. Summer issue. I refuse to go back to doing all the housework after my boyfriend called my strike manipulative. Why in the world would you ever do all the house? Okay. I know this how this sounds, Deb, and I know your listeners are gonna say just leave him, but that's not what I'm here for right now. I just need to know from you if what I did was actually wrong or if he's gaslighting me. I do everything in our apartment. I mean everything. Cooking, cleaning, groceries, laundry, bills, scheduling appointments, literally all of it. I also work full time. He also works full time. When he comes home, he sits on the couch and that's it. His contribution to our household is existing in it. I've asked him so many times to do more. He always says, okay, but then nothing changes. A few weeks ago, asked again, and he said, I know, I'll do better. Then I watched him play video games for 3 straight hours while I cleaned the kitchen, mopped the floors, and started the laundry. So I stopped. I just stopped doing everything. I set my ass down. I took care of myself and nothing else. 2 days is all it took. It took just 2 days for the apartment to become disgusting. Dishes overflowing, trash piling up, no food cooked, no groceries bought. He walked in the kitchen and said, "What the hell happened in here?" I said, "Nothing happened. I just stopped doing what I normally do." He got mad, but not the kind of mad where he rolls up his sleeves and starts cleaning. Oh, no. He got the kind of mad where he tells me I'm being passive aggressive and manipulative. He said if I had a problem, I should have just talked to him about it instead of going on strike. I have been talking to him about it for over a year. He nods and agrees and then doesn't do anything. Talking doesn't work. So I showed him what happens when I stop, and now apparently that's manipulation. He hasn't done a single dish since my strike started. The apartment is still a mess. He is waiting for me to break down and start cleaning, and I'm not going to. Am I doing the right thing for refusing to go back to doing everything after he called me manipulative for stopping? Nope. Just get you some mouse traps and shit because it's about to be on in your house. Being them find out you got snacks on the sink and on the counter. But what I would do is, when is your lease up? This relationship is over. You don't really have a relationship, really. You have like a child. You're taking care of a grown man. He's not your partner. He's just like a project, a toddler living in your house who's 6 feet tall and got hair on his chest. I mean, he's just acts like a big ass baby. So what you're gonna have to do once you get yourself situated to where you can break that lease and move out is, get all your stuff, get some friends, and schedule a day to get all your shit packed up and move the fuck out of there. And what you're gonna tell him is this, I signed on for a relationship with a man, an adult. What I have in you is a child that I have to take care of. I'm not down for it. I can't get aroused by someone who acts like you do and expects me to take care of him like I'm his mommy. There's a problem here. It doesn't really work. For me to respect a man and feel attracted to him like I want to get busy with him, I have to be able to respect him. I have to admire him. I have to look up to him. I have to feel like he's a partner to me. I don't feel none of them things with you. You're just useless. And so I'm out. Okay? But you get your ducks in a row first. Don't clean up, but when the day you get ready to move, he's gonna be at work or whatever. That's the day. That's when you move. So when he comes back, your shit'll be gone, and everything, all the mess will still be there. And then as if it's those dishes and stuff, girl, just buy you some new ones. Get you some. Go to Costco. Whatever is there that is filthy and hasn't been cleaned, I'll get me new pots and pans. I get new dishes, new silverware, new everything. And it's not that expensive. You can get a whole set of shit and probably for less than $150, you have everything new. 'Cause you only need a couple of pots, it's just you, right? That's what I would do. I got myself that, what you call it, the Hex Clad a couple of years ago. Good investment. I spent so much money, but they're really good pots. And because, when you get old, you don't have the strength that you used to have. So I can't be scrubbing no pots. So this stuff, you just put it in there, let it wash, get soft, and it washes off so easy. It's wonderful. I love it. So anyway, our final question of the day, question 25. This young lady's 20 to 34 age group. So I have an issue. Am I a bitch for leaving my boyfriend because he says I'm too sensitive every time I get upset? Nope, you're not. So I have an issue. I recently ended a 3-year relationship with my boyfriend. Let's call him Mark. Since the breakup, our mutual friends have been split. Some say I was right to get out, but others think I threw away a long-term relationship over communication hiccups that could have been fixed with therapy. To be honest, I feel like I was dating a brick wall that only spoke to about itself. The best way to describe Mark is that he is an emotional vacuum. When things were good and we were talking about his interests, like his promotion, his gym progress, or his gaming, he's charming and engaged. But the second the spotlight shifted to me, or heaven forbid, a problem I had with him, he would check out. The self-centeredness really hit a peak a few months ago. I had a massive presentation at work that I had been stressing over for weeks. When I got home, I started telling him how it went. 2 minutes in, he interrupted me to talk about a guy in his office who wears loud shoes. He didn't ask how the presentation ended. He just spent 20 minutes ranting about footsteps. And you sat there and listened? But the real issue was the invalidation. Whenever I tried to bring up how his actions affect me, he had a rotation of three responses. He would tell me either A, I was overthinking it, or B, he would say he was sorry I felt that way, but since it wasn't his intent, I shouldn't be mad. Or his favorite, C, he would tell me I was being way too sensitive. The breaking point happened last week. My grandmother, who I was very close to, passed away. I was understandably a mess. 2 days after the funeral, Mark asked if I wanted to go to a loud, crowded birthday party for one of his buddies. I told him I wasn't up for it, and I really just wanted a quiet night with him. He gave an actual audible sigh and told me that I was using the grief to be controlling, that his friend only has a birthday once a year. When I started, so your grandmother only dies once. Oh my God. When I started crying because I felt so unsupported, he told me he couldn't deal with my constant negativity and left to go to the party anyway. I packed a bag and moved back to my parents' house that night. Good for you. I texted him the next morning saying that we were done. He's been blowing up my phone saying I'm blindsiding him and that I'm being dramatic for ending a 3-year relationship over one missed night. He claims he was just trying to help me get out of my head. Now I'm sitting here wondering if I'm really just too sensitive or if I was right to realize that my feelings would never be a priority to him. Am I justified to leave him over this? Well, you're not leaving him over that. That was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, really? Is it you let him get in your head and get you to think that way? Snap out of it. This has been a long time coming. He's been repeatedly invalidating you and your feelings. He won't even listen to what you have to say. He wants to talk about himself. Everything that you contribute to the relationship, as far as you sharing things that happen to you and things that are important to you, your goals, your achievements, the things that you struggle with, the achievements that you accomplish, and all the stuff that happened to you at work. I mean, it's a big part of people's lives. He doesn't want any part of it because it interrupts with his drama that he's running on the screen of himself. That's what you should have told him. It's like this whole relationship, you've been in a relationship with yourself. I just been an innocent bystander. I want a man who's fully engaged with me, who is a partner to me, not one who tells me I'm too sensitive or shuts down my stories when I'm trying to have a share, something with him instead of have a communication with him about things that are important to me. That's what you really experience with this man. It's not about this one thing. But you let him turn your thinking around. Come on now, get your head right. That's the fact that you even let him spin your head like that is very weak-minded. As you said, you was doing good when you backed and left, but now the fact that you doubting yourself about it, that shows weakness in the mind. Okay, you can't be like that. You made a decision. You have expectations for how he's supposed to treat you and talk to you. He's not meeting him, and he shows no interest in meeting him, even after 3 years. That's what you're supposed to tell him. Okay, really, why you put up with this shit for 3 years is beyond me. I mean, he would have shut me down the first time. I said, "Look, motherfucker, when I'm talking, you don't interrupt, and we're not gonna be talking about you with some goddamn squeaky shoes. Nobody want to hear about that shit." What the fuck? I'm telling you about a life-changing presentation I had to make at my job that could get me a promotion and a big raise and a corner office, and you sitting there telling me about some goddamn shoes? For real? That's what he would have got from me. But see, you, every woman is not as wild as me. But for real though, this guy is a loser. So you, instead of worrying about and entertaining his nonsense, I want you to go in your phone. And where it says next to Mark, I want you to press that block caller button. You press that. Okay, you got all your stuff out of his place, right? If you got all your shit, well, I mean, don't block him till you get all your shit. That's when you block him. When you get back to your parents' house with all your stuff. Then you go on your phone and you block Mark. And then you go on with your life. Because Mark is in a relationship with himself. I'm surprised he even noticed that you were gone, to tell you the truth. Mark, sound like a piece of work. But anyway, that's it for this. And hopefully, I just needed to cool down a little bit. I am just so my back is sweaty. It is so hot in here. And this is my daughter was like, "Why are you doing your show today?" I said, "Because I put it off every day because it was too hot." She said, "But this is the hottest day of the week." I'm like, "Is it?" I'm like, "Well, I have to do it today. I just have to suffer through it then." So I just suffered through. But we'll see what's going to happen. I'll probably have to do the show on Sunday later because I have a lunch date in the afternoon, so I can't do 4 o'clock like I usually do. So we'll see. I might have to just move it to Monday or Tuesday, but we'll see. I'll do my best, and hopefully the weather will cooperate. So I have to sit up here feeling like a melted marshmallow. Girl, you late, KD. We leaving now. I'm done. I'm done. But you can catch the replay. Okay, and be sure to hit that subscription button, y'all. You just never know when I'm gonna decide to do a show. Okay, I'll see you later. Deuces.